The philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point, however, is to change it. The history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles. Workers of the world, unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. The ruling ideas of each age have ever been the ideas of its ruling class. Necessity is blind until it becomes conscious. Freedom is the consciousness of necessity. The theory of communism may be summed up in one sentence: abolish all private property. The production of too many useful things results in too many useless people. Reason has always existed, but not always in a reasonable form. The rich will do anything for the poor, but get off their backs. Capital is dead labor, which, vampire-like, lives only by sucking living labor, and lives the more labor it sucks. The executive of the modern state is but a committee for managing the common affairs of the whole bourgeoisie. The more of himself man attributes to God, the less he is left in himself. In bourgeois society, capital is independent and has individuality, while the living person is dependent and has no individuality. The first requisite for the happiness of the people is the abolition of religion. Philosophy stands in the same relation to the study of the actual world as mas to ****ton to se*****ul love. In proportion, therefore, as the repulsiveness of the work increases, the wage decreases. Communism is the riddle of history solved, and it knows itself to be this solution. All mysteries which lead theory to mysticism find their rational solution in human practice and in the comprehension of this practice. The oppressed are allowed once every few years to decide which particular representatives of the oppressing class are to represent and repress them. The more the division of labor and the application of machinery extend, the more does competition extend among the workers, the more do their wages shrink together. The worker becomes all the poorer the more wealth he produces, the more his production increases in power and range. The more powerful, the more comprehensive, and the more frequent the crises become. Religion is, in fact, the self-consciousness and self-esteem of man who is either not yet won through to himself or has already lost himself again. The circulation of capital realizes value and valorizes the value, hence it is the productive consumption of labor power that gives capital its specific character. Religion is the sigh of the oppressed creature, the heart of a heartless world, and the soul of soulless conditions. The weapon of criticism cannot, of course, replace criticism by weapons. The hand mill gives you society with the feudal lord, the steam mill society with the industrial capitalist. The abolition of religion as the illusory happiness of the people is the demand for their real happiness. The production of ideas, of conceptions, of consciousness is at first directly interwoven with the material activity, and the material intercourse of man, the language of real life. The development of the productive forces is the absolute condition for the emancipation of humanity. The human being is in the most literal sense a political animal, not merely a gregarious animal, but an animal which can individuate itself only in the midst of society. In the social production which men carry on, they enter into definite relations that are indispensable and independent of their will. Society does not consist of individuals, but expresses the sum of interrelations, the relations within which these individuals stand. The labor process resolves itself into several partial processes into a system. The value of labor power, therefore, resolves itself into the value of a definite quantity of the means of subsistence. The bourgeoisie cannot exist without constantly revolutionizing the instruments of production. The materialistic doctrine that men are products of circumstances and upbringing, and that, therefore, changed men are products of other circumstances and changed upbringing, forgets that it is men who change circumstances. The distinguishing feature of communism is not the abolition of property generally, but the abolition of bourgeois property. The modern bourgeois society that has sprouted from the ruins of feudal society has not done away with class antagonisms. The modern state is but a committee for managing the common affairs of the whole bourgeoisie. The existence of classes is only bound up with particular historical phases in the development of production. The more the division of labor and the application of machinery extend, the more does competition extend among the workers, the more do their wages shrink together. Subscribe and share.